I've never done it, but I presume that what a lot of YouTubers could do is they can actually just leave their camera running 24 hours a day, and then when you're in Final Cut, 24 hours a day probably, let's say 8 to 12, and you can go into Final Cut, and if you look at the audio track, as long as you don't have something loud going on at other times, then just you can see the bar graph of the speech going on, so you know when the person's talking. You don't have to like watch the whole video or see, did he say something interesting? Because if there's long gaps of silence, it's just a flat line in the graph. Skip it. Yeah, I just figured that out. I'm pretty proud of that. I'm sure everybody figures that out like the first week, but hey. If you're curious what setup this is, I was actually just testing the Gimbal, the Ronin S, and I was doing some B-roll recording. I just stuck it on the desk, and I sat here, and then Chris stopped by, and I'm like, well, that's half of the battle, because I got one camera pointing at me, and so, yes, with his permission, I pointed another camera at him, and I don't know if I forgot to turn it on, but I had like 10 minutes footage of him and 3 hours of me, so there wasn't really a lot I could do with it in terms of multi-camera angle interviews. Plus, his had the audio, so really nothing I can do with mine except read my lips, I guess. So anyway, what is this in terms of setup? It's the Ronin S just sitting there like a fancy little tripod. And then it is the Sony a6600 camera body. It is the 18 to 55G lens, which is pretty popular right now, I imagine, the f2.8 version. Oh, there's a Rode video mic, the little tiny one with a furball thing on it. I've never used it before. It's my first time with it, so. I had the longer, kind of a boom Rode mic, but it takes a battery, and you forget the battery, and then exactly, it's like, it sucks, because you have to go back, and you can't go back, you know, you dub your own audio. I should really, I know what I can do. I can actually just record the screen. Oh, that's genius. It's huge, though. Maybe I can record a region of the screen. Yeah, that's what I should be able to do. Scratching my beards, I think. I should be able to record a region of the screen. I could record the whole screen, but it's a big-ass 38-inch monitor. I don't think I really want to do that. So let me just close some stuff here. Ready to record. Well, let's get recording. Oh, yeah, here we go. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think what I've got is, okay, this is broken. Ooh, I see half a Final Cut. My apologies to Gino and his attorneys. One thing is I don't know how the autofocus is going to go here because it's eye-based. I've got it set on the auto eye tracking, so it actually, you can't see, but I can see that it draws a box around my eye in the picture. So I know that it's focused right on me. If I close my eyes, I can assume, yes. You can see my closed eye. Well, that's pretty weird. I don't know. I guess it's doing facial recognition, and closed eye is closed eye. Still an eyeball, so. That's pretty clever, actually. Good one, Sony. So I spent most of my day editing in Final Cut, comparing and contrasting the quality and types of footage that come out of those cameras, and so what you wind up with, if this works, should now cut over to the desktop, which shows all the channels. So I've got an audio track here, I've got the D90 here. You can see, if I assume the picture will make it through, that it's pretty rough. The D90 was the first DSLR, as far as I'm aware, at least certainly the first one that I had, but it may have been the first to support HD video, but it was only 720p, and you're limited to about 2 gigabytes. And so you can see I had to start and stop the camera several times here, once, twice, 3 times. I think there's some other smaller segments too. Fortunately, Final Cut is clever enough to use the audio to synchronize everything. It doesn't have to be one contiguous track, so that's really nice, actually. So DSLR 4K, DSLR HD, Handycam. Handycam's not bad, it's a little washed out. And if I went in and I did color grading on each of these, I think I could get them to look pretty similar, to be realistic. But, I mean, within a reason. We're not going to get the TRV 900 to look like it's a sweet video. What's Dave so happy about there? Oh, that was me signaling a new signal. Right. I tried to come up with a way to say new scene that I could see in the timeline. So that, you know, in the movies, they go, and you can see one of the lines, and you can do a video and audio synchronization stuff. I used to just cut and restart, but now that I'm using multiple angles, because especially if I'm just doing a desktop video, I mean, I don't need like multiple angles of me, but. So what else is going on besides this big 5-track monstrosity of a project to see if I can crash my Mac? It's not that monstrous. I'm sure people editing actual TV shows have like way more tracks or something. Imagine. And I spent some time working on a Gimbals episode, which you may recognize as me wearing the same shirt. So Not a super complicated project, but we've got picture-in-picture, some standard stock Sony video, some results from the testing, some B-roll that I filmed. So there's enough going on here just even in the first page. The only thing I'm a little worried about, and I'll show you this one, is I'm not sure if this counts as fair use. I'm hoping it does. Ethically, I'm okay with it because it's like 8 seconds. Smoothly as I could, with my arm partially extended, holding the camera in front of me, elbow bent about 45 degrees for maximum suspension. So here's the thing, in this project I try to explain how I'm doing the testing of the stabilization system. So I'm kind of doing it, I don't know if you can see, but no you can't, but I'm holding my arm out kind of front, like I'm carrying a fat baby. I don't know what I'm carrying, but I'm doing it with my arm extended and my elbow kind of bent about 45 degrees to give it the maximum amount of coil. Well, that's not coil, but it's some kind of suspension. And that's what I'm trying to explain to the audience here. And so I'm also doing where I run down the cobblestone pathway and I try not to hurt myself because I'm carrying all this equipment and it's cobblestone. Anyway, it'll make more sense. Just watch this little snippet. Loudly by the vertical lines of the pillars. To get a baseline, I made a best effort to run the path as smoothly as I could with my arm partially extended, holding the camera in front of me, elbow bent about 45 degrees for maximum suspension. I repeated it until I was as good as I was going to get, and then picked the best example. So yeah, that's the silly walk. Now, 10:30. Let's take a quick look at the Gimbals project. This is kind of the last section of the opening narration. This is describing the way that I have to run down through the pillars in order to record the gimbals and see how well they take out the motion. My first step was to set up a course, and we chose the cobblestone walkway between the house and the shop, because it's lined with 16 white Tuscan columns that are almost a worst case scenario for stabilization, because any movement is telegraphed so loudly by the vertical lines of the pillars. To get a baseline, I made a best effort to run the path as smoothly as I could with my arm partially extended, holding the camera in front of me, elbow bent about 45 degrees for maximum suspension. I repeated it until I was as good as I was going to get, and then picked the best example. I'll show this to you once, but only once full screen, because if you're anything like me, watching too much wanky full screen first person footage will make you hurl. Here's that best run with no stabilization of any kind. Steady shot, off, ready to run. Now that we've got our ever so humble starting point, and we... So yeah, stomping along, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I'm not sure about being able to use the little, it's only like 5 seconds of junk lease, but I mean, like 5 sacred seconds of junk lease, so can you get away with that? I mean, I don't want to get away with anything, I want to be fair about it, but is it fair use to use 5 seconds? Because it's not like people are going to say, I'm never renting another Monty Python movie, I've seen everything I need to see now. Maybe they are, I doubt it, but... I'm curious how this looks. I'm sure it's painful to edit, just watching myself. Actually, I can't see myself. Well, I can if I put the little monitor up there, but that's only for me to know that it's in focus. I don't generally stare at myself. That's a good point for me to break it off at because I'm going to head in and pick up editing tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. I used to watch these TV shows when I was real little, like Romper Room and Mr. Dress Up. But he would occasionally throw out a name and he would like stun you if it happened to match yours. So let me try it. I'll get my Romper Room mirror and say, "Good night, Glenn." Just in case.